Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. This is Valley Group Beauty, and it feels like it's been forever since I've done a YouTube video, which is probably because it has been, and I have some crazy life updates that I want to share with you guys, and then talk a little bit more about, what life is going to look like moving forward, and also what you can expect from this channel. And that all starts with the fact that I quit my full-time job. And now I'm learning how to be a full-time entrepreneur. So let's go back and talk a little bit about why I left my job and what I'm doing now. So in April, I made the decision to not re-sign my contract as an athletic trainer. And if you guys have watched my videos, you guys probably know a little bit about that. It's a cross between like a paramedic and a physical therapist. So I worked at a school and I was responsible for all of the injury rehabs, physicals, all the things when it comes to sports, athletics, and injuries. That was my job, and I loved it. I loved working with the kids. I loved, being able to see them hit their goals or come back from injury, and I had been doing that full-time for 7 years. I had actually been at this organization for 9 years because I was there 2 years as a student doing my clinical rotation, and then I got hired right out when I graduated as the head athletic trainer and was there for 7 years as the head. And while I loved it, I really started to become aware in the past couple of years how little I was able to see my family and how little I was home. And that kind of is twofold. Number one, my parents were having some health issues, and I really just started having this like God nudge or push, like, I'm not someone who likes to live with regrets, and I would regret not having spent the time with my family while I have time to spend, like while they're still walking around. And that just really started to weigh heavily on me because I'm able to see my family maybe, 2 weeks out of the year, broken up into a couple different trips. And that really kind of started to bother me. Like, am I really okay with only seeing, my family 2 weeks out of the year? And then if you start thinking about things, it's like, dang, you never know how much time anyone has. Like, am I going to be okay with, if something happens, not having spent more time? And I wasn't okay with that. I know exactly how my year will look every year at the place that I was at. I know what my schedule will be like, the hours, the expectations. I know exactly what it would look like every single year. And I realized I wasn't okay with that. I knew exactly what it would require and also what it would cost me. It would cost that time, that valuable, priceless time with my family. And then on the flip side of that, as someone who wants to be a mom, knowing that I'm going to be gone 6 days a week and working those type of hours, I'm like, how on earth am I supposed to balance, this job and career with also wanting to be a mom and then also wanting to see my family? My family's all the way in Washington State, so I live in Florida, and it can't just be like a weekend trip, because it's all the way on the other side of the country and they're a couple hours from the airport. So, you have to have, a few days in a row to be able to go there. And as it is, I would work pretty much every holiday that we had because there's still sports on holidays. If you guys are parents, you know that your kids still have sports even when it's winter break, Easter break, any sort of break that you could go on. Sports usually still practice, and they usually go on Saturdays as well. So it was really tough, and I cried almost every day for a month because I felt like I was letting people down, disappointing people. I knew I was gonna miss the kids, and I really did love where I was at. I did. What I didn't love was having to have that big of a time commitment, 6 days a week, and I'm not getting home until 10 o'clock at night. It's just, I realized I could keep doing it. I could, but it would be at the cost of everything that I love and that is important to me. And so I wanted to touch on that because I know a lot of people who work in service industries like athletic training or nursing or teaching. You love what you do, but it also does take so much. And at some point you may be caught in this, like, I love what I do. It's my career job. That's the other thing. It's what I went to school for. It's what I got my degrees in. And if you follow what you're told when you're a kid, you know, you work hard and you do good in school, you go to college, you get your degree, then you get your career job, and boom, you're successful. And so I did all that, but then coming to the realization that, like, well, if this is success, maybe this isn't really what I want. Is success really only being able to see my family twice a year? Is success really only having one day off a week? Is, you know, success not being ever able to do anything with your friends? Is success, you know, living the way that I'm living? And it's tough because you can have those questions and those thoughts while doing something you like and enjoy. You know, I really did like and enjoy it. Like, I liked going to work and, you know, the environment and the sports, and it was great. But as time went on, it would just, every break that I didn't have time off, or every, you know, time that I wasn't able to be home for different things, or as my family had ups and downs and I couldn't be there to help them through certain problems, you know, it was just like, it really just made me think about what's most important to me. And that was, family was number one. And then living with no regrets was number two. And I knew that I would, like, physically, it was painful. Like, if I re-signed that, it would have hurt so bad, because I felt like I'd be choosing work over family, and I wasn't willing to do that. So made that decision, and now I get to be a full-time entrepreneur. A lot of people are like, are you going to go to another school? Or are you going to work here or work there or work there? And I'm like, you know what? There's lots of ways to make money, and I already have a successful direct selling business in SeneGence. And you guys, if you're on this channel, you already know that, because that's probably why you follow my channel in the first place, is because I share tips and tricks about, you know, SeneGence. And last year I was able to hit what's called Inner Circle for personal sales. So I sold over $40,000 in skincare and makeup, which is amazing. And doing that alongside my full-time 6 days a week was absolutely amazing. So a lot of people are trying to make me be stressed and anxious about, you know, what are you going to do for money, or how are you going to replace that income? Because it was a salary income and it was stable, and it was a good paying job. I got paid very well compared to a lot of other athletic trainers in the industry. But again, it was at the cost of everything that I loved. So I know that there will probably be some ups and downs. There's going to be some stressors here and there. But at the same time, I'm pretty confident in my ability to, you know, find other ways to make money that don't come at the expense of my family and my time at home. So that's what I'm excited about when it comes to this channel, is because now I will get to share with you guys everything that I've learned in the past 5 years of running a direct selling business with only having 1 day a week, and then also sharing the transition from having it as like a side hustle and fun money to doing it as my primary source of income. I will also be launching a boutique, which I'm super excited about. So I'll be sharing some of the details on that, but it's going to be Valley Girl Boutique, so you can go follow that on Instagram now. I'll be launching soon on that. I'm very, very excited about it. So I will have a couple things in the work. It's something that I've always wanted to do. I've always wanted to launch a boutique and make my own shirts. So very, very excited about that. And I'm also very excited to, you know, put more time and energy into my direct selling business, because there's such different business models. So one, I'm the owner. I'm making and creating everything myself, which also means packaging and shipping everything myself. And then on the flip side with SeneGence, I don't have to test the products, and I get to choose whether or not I ship them. So I can have people order through my website and SeneGence ships it to them, you know, or I can place bulk orders and ship out to my customers if I want. So two different business models, and I'm really excited to share my journey in making this my full-time job. So I just wanted to give you guys the updates, because that's what's been happening. That's why I haven't really been here. Moving forward, I have a whole lineup of videos that I need to do. I need to share some updates with SeneGence that have changed over the past couple years. I want to give you guys my 5-year review as being a distributor, because I have been a distributor for over 5 years now. I just hit my 5-year mark June 30th. And what else? So many new apps have launched that can really, really help your business. There are new resources available. There's new products. So there's lots of things that I will be sharing along with doing product knowledge and things like that. So I just wanted to kind of give you guys a heads up. So if you follow this channel and are a SendEngines distributor or someone who is interested in being one, do continue to follow this channel, because I am going to be able to push out so much more content, all the things that I wanted to do videos on the past couple years that I just didn't have time to do because I was working 6 days a week and running my business and working with my team at the same time. So YouTube kind of had to fall to the wayside and I wasn't able to put that content out there how I wanted to. So now I'm going to be making that a priority so that I can be sharing and teaching on this platform as well. So I'm very, very excited. And again, if you have any questions or want to talk about that transition, please send me a message on Instagram at Valley Girl Beauty, and let's just have a chat about it, because I think people a lot of times talk about, you know, how much they hate their job, you know, and then it's like, well, it's easier for you to leave if you hate something, right? Because you hate it, you don't like it anyways. So then if there's a better opportunity, it's easy for you to take it, or it's easier for you to quit. It obviously is tough when it comes to money because you're like, well, I hate my job, but I need the money, right? But in my situation, I loved my job and needed the money, and I still quit, which means I am taking a huge leap of faith here. I'm trusting that God will provide, and that's really, it wouldn't take faith if I had everything lined up behind it, you know. So this will also be a very big testament to God, and a testimony of my faith, in that I'm trusting him to, you know, provide and kind of walk with me during this time, as, you know, I go from what's stable and secure to walking in faith and, you know, making my own way in a space that I've never been able to do before. And one more thing before I get off, I just want to share a little bit of the fruit that he's provided already, which is I was able to go home for 3 weeks in July, which is the longest time in 10 years. So since I moved to Florida, it's the longest time that I've been able to be home in one stay in 10 years. And that was so meaningful and special, and I was able to help my family so much, get them ready for winter, just put so much time, and then also just being there and checking things off our bucket list, things that we've been dreaming about doing for years, like riding horses on the beach and going to the ape caves in Washington. And, you know, we had this whole list, going to the different rodeos, so many different things that my mom and I have talked about years being able to do, but I never could because we always had football, you know, and not being able to spend a single family holiday together or a single birthday together, all of those things that I gave up because I love my job. Now I will be able to do, and, you know, so it's just going to be a very different but exciting journey. So right now my process is figuring out how to set a schedule for myself and to stick to it, because now, instead of like I only have this hour before I have to go into work, now I get to set my schedule and I get to put what's important to me and schedule my hours around when I am most creative, when I am the most productive, you know, when am I most on fire for working? For me, I already know it's in the morning. So setting my hours in the morning, and then having things like the gym and things like hanging out with my husband and stuff like that in the afternoon and evening is probably how it's gonna go, but it's gonna be a learning curve, and I'm excited to share it all. So if you know someone also who's struggling going through a transition like this, or is on the fence, or you're just feeling pulled like, I don't know what I'm gonna do, but I don't think this is how I want to continue, message me so we can have a conversation about it, because it's hard. Again, once I made that decision, it was easy to make the decision because I knew it was the right one, but man, it was so hard to actually follow through. I cried when I told my boss, and it was sucked. It just sucked. It sucked in every definition of the word. It was really hard. Every conversation was hard. And I really struggled mentally. You know, it was the first time in my life that I was like, you know what, I am really not okay. Even knowing fully that it was the right decision, I wasn't gonna change my mind. It was so hard to actually follow through with it. So message me if you can relate to that. If you need help, follow me again on Instagram, and, you know, let's talk, because I know that God will provide. and I'm excited to see what's in store. So I'm gonna hop off here. I'm excited again to start pumping out more videos, and I hope you guys all have a wonderful rest of your day. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe this video. Okay, bye everybody.